And I was like, yoga? Yeah, right. She kept telling me, she goes, no, it's intense. And it is. It's everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that about yoga. Like, I'm just going to go in there and stretch. And granted, there are teachers that are that way, and that is why people think that.
Yeah.
And I get that there are instructors, there are classes, there is an element to yoga that is more Zen. My experiences were not that. My first yoga class I went to was Yoga Sculpt with Rita Fountain at the Littleton studio. I walked in, there's a bunch of women in the room. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, oh, this is great. Take my shirt off. I'm all jacked. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to show every one of you up in here. You have no idea the
classic
whirlwind.
Dude faux or maneuver. Like just,
oh yeah.
Every dude's first yoga class is this.
That class started and I was completely humbled. I was embarrassed. I was absolutely embarrassed. The ending couldn't come quick enough. I walked out, I was drenched in sweat, and I was like, that is the hardest workout I'd ever done. And then I was addicted. And from then on, that was my experience with yoga always. I only went to Yoga Sculpt and I only went to Rita's class. And Rita kept telling me, you need to go take a hot power fusion. I was like, I'm not going to go do yoga. Same thing, yoga. Even though I'm doing yoga, whatever. And I went and took her hot power fusion class. Completely different. It's a fusion of hot style yoga, which is more of holding poses, which is very intense as well. Hot yoga is very intense. Blended with power, which is vinyasa. Power yoga means vinyasa, which is breath with movement. So you're moving with your breath. It was like 105 degrees. Oh, I died in there. And then I was addicted to that. And that's all I wanted to do is hot power fusion. I did not want to take a C2 class. Got into the C2. Every experience I've had with the yoga has been, it's just intense. So, Rita made me her +1. I would go for free all the time. Rita got a job with Charlotte's Web as their, she does like their partnerships with Charlotte's Web right now. She's very successful. So she told me, she said, hey, I'm not going to be here anymore. You're not going to get my +1. She got to pay for a membership. But if you get on the cleaning crew, you get on the cleaning crew and you get a discount. So it's pretty much free. I was like, oh, sign me up. So I got on the cleaning crew. From there, I got talked in to be a teacher. They said, you need to go take the teacher training program. I went to the teacher training program. I can't tell you how intimidating that was. I walked into teacher training, opened up the door, looked in. It's all these 18, 19, 20-year-old girls. I'm an old man with gray hair. I walked in that room and I was like, I do not fit here. And it was intimidating to me. I went in there. All of these girls seemed like they knew what they were doing. They were bred. They were meant to be yoga instructors. And I'm just this old man that works at Casa Bonita. Halfway through, it was Halloween. We had teacher training during Halloween. It was the first Halloween I missed for my children. I always took my kids out trick-or-treating. That was their last year of trick-or-treating, coincidentally, because they weren't little kids anymore. I didn't take them, so I was kind of bummed. And I didn't feel like it was for me. I was an inhale and an exhale away from standing up and walking out and saying, I'm done with this. And one of the instructors pulled me aside and said, and it's something I'll always remember, this is not my time. This is your time. This is your space. This is your mat, Robbie. You take what you want from it. You give back what you can. And I'll always remember that. I went back in, breathe out. Who cares what happens? And from that moment on, I knew I was going to be a teacher. I finished my training, got certified. One of the instructors, her name was Kata. She said, Robbie, you want to teach now, huh? I was like, oh yeah, I'm showing up to the audition. She goes, what audition? I was like, the audition. I know there's one like at this studio. She goes, you can't go to that. I go, why? She goes, you have to get invited. I said, well, who invites you? She goes, a studio manager. I said, okay. Are you a studio manager? Yeah. Invite me. She goes, it doesn't work that way. So I was deflated. You know, I just spent all this money, time, effort, energy into getting certified to find out I would never teach a class. And I was on the cleaning crew. So what I would do is I would go and clean, and then late at night I had access to the studio. I would put my playlist on. I'd go in the studio, turn the lights on, and I would teach to an empty room. And on Christmas Eve, April Zimmelman, who was the manager for the Littleton studio, she walked in on me. It was like 10 o'clock at night, Christmas Eve. I'm alone. And I thought I was in trouble. She walked in. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing in here?" I was like, "I'm practicing." She goes, "For what?" I said, "I want to teach." She goes, "You want to teach that bad?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Why don't you come in on Thursday and we'll let you do a class?" I walked in on Thursday. Supposed to be me and April. April goes, "Do you just want to teach the class?" I said, "Hell yeah." Went in. It was like 45 people. It was packed. And that was the end of it. It was one of the worst classes I ever taught. But from then on, I was in.
Nice.
You know, and that was kind of everything changed. So